Overseas, Michael, we had Anthony Albanese today flattering the Chinese Premier, calling him a friend, despite China again threatening one of our RAAF planes only a week ago. And meanwhile, of course, China's closest ally is Russia. China's supporting Russia in the invasion of Ukraine. Our friend is doing this. Russia, meanwhile, very publicly tested a nuclear-capable missile, one that flew 14,000 kilometres, with Russian despot Vladimir Putin once again threatening the West with his nuclear weapons. The best in the world, he claimed. Here he is.
Our nuclear deterrent is at the highest level. It's probably no exaggeration to say that it's at least higher than that of all nuclear states.
Michael, how serious are Putin's threats, especially with our friends in China backing him?
Yeah, well, at least Albo covers himself by making references to the military, things which he didn't do before. But Beijing communists only respect real power, and they'll be acutely aware of Australia's declining military power as this socialist left government asset strips the ADF in order to pay for the submarines. And of course, the scandal is, Andrew, we are paying via petrol prices, some of which are bought by the ADF via Indian refineries for this Russian war effort. Europe has an economy 20 times the size of Russia. In fact, I'd remind you, Andrew, that Australia has a bigger economy than Russia. We just don't have to blink as far as the Russians are concerned. I hope Trump's economic sanctions, the new economic sanctions, plus European support for advanced Ukrainian weaponry, including long strike weapons, will eventually grind the Russians down. Many of the military experts say that's coming in the next 6 months to a year.
Can you imagine Australia with nuclear weapons? Maybe we wouldn't push it around that much. Lisa, is it right for Albanese? I understand the argument, don't publicly embarrass the Premier of Communist China when we're so desperately dependent on them to buy our exports, but is it right for him to then go the extra mile and call the Chinese Premier, a friend?
You mean the same friend whose country is firing on our helicopters, on our planes, setting flares off? And look, I looked at this back, it's almost 2 years. In November 2023, that was when there was a sonar attack on the HMAS Toowoomba. And at that time, we had Richard Marles saying it was unsafe and unprofessional. That was the comment towards China. Now, fast forward to today, and we're seeing Richard Marles again describing it as unsafe and unprofessional. So in 2 years, they haven't changed the Australian rhetoric towards this at all. So I would suggest that words need to be strengthened. And whatever happened in that meeting today, we will never know because Albanese will not tell. But surely it is not a friend who does that to us. And right now, it's our national security that's at risk. And yes, we have to balance that with trade, and we have to balance that with goodness knows what they said about the critical minerals deal behind those closed doors. But Australia isn't changing its language at all, and we are certainly not any tougher today than we were even 2 years ago when we were attacked.
Yeah, I think Albanese is saying he raised it in private, at least, is more like a ticker box exercise. And I'd be very intrigued to know how the Premier reacted. I think he would have just said, yawn, moving on. I know you're just doing it for form. But Michael, this, as Lisa said, the government keeps dismissing it as unsafe. Yeah, it's meant to be unsafe. It's meant to warn the RAAF plane to bugger off. It's unprofessional. Well, we don't know that. It could be exactly following orders and doing it by the book. As far as China's concerned, they've really got to find new language to describe what China's doing.
How many times does it have to happen before it's not coincidence? Let's go back to first principles, Andrew. The reason Australia, Britain, France, many other countries are in the South China Sea is because the International Court of Arbitration said it was an international sea. 60% of Australia's maritime trade to Japan, Korea, and even China and Taiwan go through that sea. And we have to see we have free passage of that international waterway. It's outrageous that the Chinese are trying to turn it into their version of the English Channel.
That's exactly correct. Lisa Goddard, Michael Danby, thank you very much to you both.